Pointy! I yell over the loud screech of yet another elephant bird flying overhead. I failed again. I would give anything to have my family and friends visit this forest. They would play dead at every screech. But not me. I would never. I want to see what makes them screech so much. It's not natural. I bet it was those weird, cubish, colourful eggs. I would be screaming too. Yes, I would. And flee. Flee as fast as I possibly could if furless monkeys disturbed my sleep to shove blocky eggs in my stomach. One egg is all it would take for me. But those furless monkeys shove tens and tens of those eggs inside the elephant birds. It's got to hurt something fierce. It is so strange. Everything about this forest is strange. For one, it is always hot. Hot as the hottest summers I have experienced. All the time. And the hills. All the hills are so unnatural and blocky. Stacked upon each other, clumped together. Hard, rough, grey, bland. Unlike the proper hills in my home, all brown, covered in green, and slopey. I miss them. Beside me, my good friend Pointy supports me through these trying times. Stoic. He stands pointing. Fickle as he usually was, today he stands still like a crane hunting for fish. Not doing anything to disrupt my melancholy. I like Pointy. He gets me. I like you, Pointy. You get me. Making sure he knows I'm appreciative of his company. Pointy wiggled in acknowledgement as a slight breeze swept through the forest. Pointy has to be the most normal thing in this forest. The elephant birds and the shoving furless monkeys are quite strange. That is for sure, and the hills too, but there is so much more here. I bet my friends back home would not call me strange anymore, for refusing to play dead at every crack of a twig. All they would have to do was spend a day here and they'd forget all their opinions about normal. Where do I even begin? There's the glowing trees and the mini suns. It was never dark here. Even after the big sun set, the small ones would appear out of nowhere, and the trees would begin glowing. Well, not the entire tree. Thankfully, they are not that strange. But their leaves. They would glow with a bright white light. Blinding. There's one right below Pointy, too. But it's a bright red one. Probably an old tree, since it has just that one red leaf. And then, them giant caterpillars. Them are the ones who carried the weird eggs. They would slither out of the forest as soon as the elephant birds landed to rest. The furless monkeys then take out the eggs, in a rather rough manner, and with blatant disregard for the eggs' safety, they stuff them in these caterpillars, and that was not enough. Sometime later, the caterpillars would come out with a different set of eggs, which the monkeys would then shove back inside the elephant birds. The entire cycle is very, very confusing. But nothing, and I mean nothing, could beat the white-leafed upside-down mini-trees. Some of the furless monkeys would use them to forage food from the forest ground, and even stranger the fact that they don't even eat it. They leave them inside small, dark caves, unattended, unguarded. Their loss, I suppose. The bounty stuck to those leaves. Their aroma. So many different flavours. All placed together in a single tree for my convenience. Oh, I could survive for months off a single day's collection, which would probably be one of the reasons I've gotten so portly. Pointy, you think I have gotten fat? I roll over on my back as I pinched my stomach with my claws. Pointy does not move a single hair. He's a polite friend indeed. I roll back to look out to the horizon. The grey fields stretch out in front of me. They lay right outside this forest. And beyond them, I could see glimpses of an old forest. Far, far away. But except for jumping off a hill, and probably get splattered across the hard ground below, I had not found a way to reach the grey fields beyond, until today, and it hit me like a falling nut. Pointy is maybe, possibly, likely, annoyed at me for leaving him hanging. Like a good friend, he has always been a good listener, letting me share my ups and downs with him without judgment. Never an unkind word. He's probably waiting for me to finish telling him about today's misadventure. I look at his patient form, looking out at the grey fields by my side. You're waiting for me to tell you about today's misadventure, huh? Pointy jerks around to face me. A sudden gust of wind comes in from the side. There's a slight chill to it. I am sorry, Pointy. I would never want to disappoint you, but I could not control myself. Pointy quivers a bit, unable to hide his disappointment any longer. Gusts of wind keep flowing over the forest. I had almost made it too, I say in a low voice, head hanging in shame. But those delicious, delectable, scrumpty... Pointy stiffens once more, looking down at me. The wind dies down as abruptly as it had begun. Overhead the sky's getting darker, much earlier than usual. Yes, I did. I got distracted by the white mini trees. Pointy turns away from me. Another gust of wind from behind me this time. The weather today is acting just as strange as everything else. I'm afraid of laying it all out to Pointy. I would rather play dead. But that is against the core of my very being. I will push through. I will tell him everything. He deserves to know. I was weak, Pointy. Right as I was about to leave the forest, a waft of enticing aromas reached my nose, and like an army of ants walking without any conscious thought, I ran over to the white tree, and I began gorging. I paused for a moment, ashamed of my actions, ashamed of letting down Pointy. He was still facing away, too disappointed to even look at me. That was not all, though. While I was eating, I dug into the tree, and did not even realize when one of those furless monkeys came and picked up the tree. I let out a shudder, thinking back to what followed next. He did not notice me at first. He took the tree over to a small pool and unceremoniously dunked the tree and me along with it into the pool, again and again, without stopping. I started shivering, finding it difficult to recount my ordeal. Pointy turns back to face me. A strong wind picks up from the other side now. I can see sympathy in his eyes. He understands. He is an empathetic friend. With his calm support, I continue. My whole life flashed in front of my eyes. The old forests, the devil cats, running for my life to the top of this thin hill. And you, yes, you, my friend. My thoughts in my final moments were about being unable to say goodbye to you. Pointy looks on in silence, tears in his eyes. He is touched. A light drizzle has begun. Respite from the incessant heat today. Allowing a brief pause for both of us to get a hold of our emotions, I continue. Somehow I survived the drowning attempt, but when the monkey placed the tree aside, he noticed me from the corner of his eyes, and screamed. It then picked up the tree and forced me back into the pool, dunking it at least 18 times more. Pointy starts quivering with indignation. He cannot keep tears from his eyes. I can feel the rage rising in him. The drizzle now accompanied with a strong wind. Rain drops pricking all over my body. But that was not the end of it. At one point he held me down using the tree and pushed a small, shiny rock above the pool, and even more water came gushing in. An edge creeps into my voice as I continue. I had had enough, being trapped in this strange forest, the elephant bird's constant screeching, almost getting run over by furless monkeys 5 times a day. I snapped. I take a deep breath lest my emotions get the best of me again. Pointy, on the other hand, is still shaking in anger. He cannot believe what happened with his dear friend. I calmed him down with a pat on his crowned head, but he is too worked up. I continue onward to tell him about how I got the last laugh. I forced my way from under the tree and jumped at the monkey's face and held on for dear life. In panic it started flailing around and hit its head against a wall and fell. I let out a small giggle as I recount the last part. Pointy also lets out slight creak as he spins around in happiness. The wind is blowing in circles around the forest. A few moments later, Pointy settles down and starts dancing to the pitter-patter of the last of the raindrops. I sit down beside him, gazing across the grey fields in shared melancholy, watching as the furless monkeys shove the weird eggs into yet another elephant bird. They smack the hole on its side, and that was the final straw. The elephant bird starts moving, readying its escape. A pang of jealousy overcomes me. This bird, it will escape, yet I will be stuck here, forever. I will never escape the forest, will I, Pointy? End of Part 1. A note from the author. This is the first of the collection of short stories. While I wrote the story, that is where my ownership ends. That's not modesty, simply how stories work. What this one meant to you, what emotions it stirred, or didn't, that is yours and yours alone. The only thing I can offer is that I tried to make it worth the time you gave it. See what they see. Part 2 coming on April 28th, 2026. Subscribe for free to receive the next part and other short stories every month on the 14th and the 28th.